This is a Squiz podcast. We're your shortcut to being informed. We also try to give you the background to the news here at the Squiz, and the Kendrick Lamar Drake saga is a thing that we've been trying to find the right moment to explain.
Yeah, a number of us in the Squiz team, yourself included, me included, spent about a week trying to wrap our heads around the whole thing. So we're going to give it a go. We're going to give it a red hot crack. So Drake is one of the biggest artists in the world. He's second only to Taylor Swift in terms of Spotify streams, if you want to use that metric. And if there's a way to explain, I guess, the difference between Drake and Kendrick Lamar in very broad terms, Drake is the commercial success. Kendrick is the critical success. He's the critical darling. He won the Grammy for Rap Album of the Year 3 times. He has a Pulitzer Prize for music for his album Damn.
I didn't even know there was a Pulitzer Prize for music until now, but this is actually an important point I've discovered. Drake is like sort of big, flashy, arrogant, commercial, and also from Toronto in Canada, where not a lot of rappers originate.
No.
So that's a sort of just a weird sort of quirk of Drake. Kendrick Lamar is poetic, humble, guy from Compton, rap central.
Yeah. Where a lot of rap, West Coast rap originated from, and a lot of the legends of the game have originated from there. And so they're the two main figures, the commercial guy, the critical guy. And the key word to know here now is the word beef.
Yeah.
So a beef in rap terms, or really in any terms these days, because it's one of those things that's really kind of translated over to regular mainstream culture from the rap scene, is a sometimes heated and sometimes lighthearted rivalry between two rappers. Drake is famous for them. It was the first thing I learned about Drake when I learned about Drake back in the early 2010s.
So he has a lot of beef?
He has a lot of beef. There's an SNL sketch from a decade ago that he's in making fun of him for it. So he's also self-aware.
Used it correctly?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So he has a track record of this sort of thing. Kendrick doesn't really get involved in this stuff.
No, he's done it a little bit here and there, but this is much more a Drake thing than a Kendrick thing. Kendrick probably doesn't do it as much as most rappers, if you look across the board. And back in the day, the two were friends, collaborators. They seemed to get on really well. But then this started quite a long time ago, 2013, when Kendrick dropped a verse on a song called Control, and he called out a few rappers in that verse. Drake was one of those rappers that he called out. And then it was simmered along. Nothing massively happened for about 10 years. And most people thought it's not really that deep. It's one of the more friendly, maybe one of the more lighthearted beefs on the block until last year.
And I do remember this at the time. It was March. I've since recalled that things sort of just exploded, and this became something that we all were like, what is this about?
Yes.
So they released a handful of diss tracks between them with some serious allegations, things like cheating on partners, domestic violence, secret children. In Kendrick's song Not Like Us, he accuses Drake, which is the song that has kind of blown this all up.
Yep.
He accuses Drake of grooming underage girls, which, to be clear, there isn't really any evidence to back up.
No, and what we've learned as we've kind of sought to understand more about this is that this isn't unusual, but it is very typical for these songs to exaggerate or say outlandish things for dramatic effect. But what's taken this to the next level again is that Drake filed a lawsuit against Kendrick Lamar's label, which is UMG.
Which is also, this is where I got confused, it's also his label.
It is also his label. And that involves a whole bunch of legal principles that we probably don't have time to get into, but it does make it really interesting and confusing, but it is nonetheless true. So he said that the song promotes false pedophilia allegations against him and has tarnished his reputation.
Which brings us to the Super Bowl.
Yes.
So why we're talking about this week. Kendrick Lamar was the halftime show. Will he play the song? Will he not play the song? What's the song called again?
Not Like Us.
Not Like Us. I was going to say It's Not Like Us, and that would have made me sound really uncool. Not Like Us.
No risk of that.
He played it. It went off. In rap feud world, it seemed like sort of the final blow. This was, what was the knockout. To actually play this, because also it's just such a huge, huge, huge hit.
Ginormous hit. And I guess one of the ironic things about this is that the thing that has arguably made Kendrick more famous and more successful than he has ever been has been the beef with Drake and the resulting songs from it. So he won 5 Grammys. He is generally accepted by pretty much every music expert I've read who knows far more about this than I do, that he has won this beef conclusively.
I'm still not sure if I care about this. I'm still a bit do I care? But I I'm glad I know. Drake's actually on tour in Australia this week, so I'll probably still be in the news.
Yeah.
And I think we both should reference an episode of The Daily by the New York Times that we listened to get a proper understanding of this.
Yes.
If anyone wants to go deeper, that is a good place to start because there are layers and layers and layers. We haven't even talked about Serena Williams, but I actually think on a care level across our audience, there might be people who are like, stop talking about it, and there are people who want to go deeper.
Yeah.
I reckon we've done enough.
Okay, good. If you do desperately want to know about Serena Williams, just know that she's involved. And if you want to learn more, there's so much to learn because it's so deep.
All the very best.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. For more news with the Squiz, make sure to hit subscribe using the button below.
We're your shortcut to being informed.